blue crabs, hermit crabs, spider crabs, horseshoe crabs,
Oysters.
oysters. We have oysters.
Jackfish.
Jackfish. We can get jackfish. Yep.
Clams.
Yep. Clams. Anything else?
Snails.
Snails. Snails. You were gonna say snails too?
Plankton.
What else?
A bonefish.
Bonefish head?
Oh, ew.
Maybe.
Because I have one of those. I
Do
do.
you?
Yes.
What's that?
Plankton.
Plankton. Yeah, there's lots of plankton. So what else? What are we missing? We've named a lot of animals. What's the other stuff that we find in the day a lot? Starfish. Jellyfish. Yeah, that's close. What else are we thinking?
Garbage.
Garbage. We do find a lot of garbage. We don't like garbage, but unfortunately we do find a lot. One more thing that I'm thinking of, it's not necessarily that specific, but there's different kinds of it. Usually green.
Seaweed.
Seaweed. So we're going to talk a little bit about seaweed
Your
today.
shirt's green.
My shirt's green. Sometimes seaweed's green.
Oh,
There's
I
different
always
kinds of seaweed. Who's ever seen sea lettuce before? Yeah, we know what sea lettuce looks like, right?
We had it. Yeah.
It looks like lettuce. You can eat it even if you want.
What?
Yeah. I've eaten it before.
Ew.
It's okay. It's kind of salty. It's not that good, but you can eat it if you really want to. This is another type of seaweed. What kind of seaweed do we think this is?
Confetti seaweed.
Confetti seaweed? Kind of looks like that, but nope.
Dry seaweed.
It is a little dry because I picked it off the beach today where it washed up.
Suck. Seaweed.
Nope. So it's it's named after an animal that lives in the bay as well. What do you think it looks like? It's black. These fish are black and slimy. Anyone?
Snails.
Snails? Nope.
Starfish.
Nope. One more person. Try a guess. They're black, slimy. People like to use them for fishing bait sometimes. No. Anyone? Anyone? No? Nope. No one's got it. Alright, I'm gonna let you guys know
I
what it is.
used it, but I forgot.
Eels.
Ah. I'm still not exactly what it was.
So eelgrass. This is called eelgrass. It's a little greener when it's in the water. This washed up on the bay beach at my street. I picked it up before I came in here so I could show you guys. This is eelgrass. What do you think eelgrass is so important for in the bay?
Eels?
Well, eels like it, but what
The
else?
water doesn't
What's that?
tie up on the fish.
Fish like it? What do you think they use it for? What do all these different things that you guys just made use this for? Food. What else?
Maybe nests.
Nests. They could make a nest out of it if it washes up.
Bird.
Yeah. What else? What about all those fish and crabs and things? What do you think they use it for?
Food.
Homes, habitat. So they live in here. So especially when they're little, they come out as little baby crabs. We catch crabs sometimes when we're sailing. They're like that big. They're as big as my thumbnail. All those little tiny things need somewhere to hide. They need somewhere to grow and get bigger. They love eelgrass. Eelgrass is great. It grows in these like meadows. It's like a big field of eelgrass underwater. So they all grow in there. And these animals need this eelgrass to grow. So without eelgrass, there's no home. You know what else eelgrass produces? It's a plant. What do plants make for us? What do we need?
Food. Oxygen.
Oxygen. So we need oxygen to breathe. Fish need oxygen to breathe. Crabs need oxygen to breathe. All those things need oxygen. Everything living needs oxygen. So without it, there's no oxygen. Without eelgrass, there's no oxygen. So we're going to talk a little bit about why there might not be any oxygen in the bay. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do a little project to talk about how important the sun is, because plants also need sun, right? So to make oxygen, plants need sun. Without sun, they can't make oxygen. So we're going to talk about how important the sun is and how powerful it is. So what we're going to do today is going to make some sun prints. So you guys each have a plate with a piece of plexiglass in front of you. We're going to start off by writing our names on our plate. Grab a marker. Write it on the edge because we don't want it to be in the way. Just write our name. You don't have to write your class because you're already in it. Alright, so we're just going to write our name around
Not
the
in
edge
the middle of
quick.
the plate, but along the edge, on the ribs. Perfect. Now girls and boys, what you're going to do as soon as you've written your name on there, select one item of a shell or one of those items on the thing to put on your plate. When everyone in your group has one, you can choose a second item. So go ahead, choose a shell or a starfish or choose one.
I got seaweed.
Choose whatever there. That's the selection right Now, after you choose one, choose a second. Choose one, then get another.
It's real. I think Dr. Miller are those little seahorse things.
I really like
Little
it.
rubber fish.
I have two fish.
So you're gonna do two, and then you can pick up the
Three.
others.
Go for three.
You
get three.
You don't want to pick a ton.
Get four.
I really want to see the
Choose four
I
items.
got seaweed.
Put them on your plexiglass.
So one.
Arrange them on your plexiglass, but not to where they're touching.
Right. So once you guys have them arranged, we're gonna take our plates. We're gonna take turns. We're gonna go outside, and we're gonna put a special piece of paper under it. When that paper reacts with the sun, it turns this cool blue color. Anywhere you have something, so whoever has the little rubber stamp fish winds up making that kind of imprint.
Okay,
So
pick
we're
up your
gonna
plates.
arrange our stuff. We're gonna take it outside. And we're gonna expose it to the sun. All right. You got a seahorse? So we're gonna keep this part. And we're gonna keep the shell so we
Get
can
out your
keep the
plate
other
arranged.
side.
Bring it out.
That's a sea fan.
Bring it out.
That's not from here. I think that's actually from Puerto Rico. Yeah, they're not local to here, but if you go somewhere more tropical where there's coral reefs, a lot of times they'll find them. That's all you want? Then grab some other bits. But that looks pretty cool. Who's with it?
Eutrophication. Everyone say eutrophication.
Eutrophication.
There's the word right there on the whiteboard. It's what's happening to our bay. What's our bay called? In Barnegat Bay, we are having a very big problem. It's called eutrophication. And we're going to learn about what that is. So let's watch and talk about it while our experiments are working in the sun.
Eutrophication is a process that can happen in a water body, like a river or lake, when too many nutrients are added to the system. Eutrophication starts when fertilizers, which are rich in nutrients like nitrate and phosphate, are washed into the river or lake system. This leads to an increase in nutrient concentrations in the water. The nutrients are food for algae, and the algae grow and reproduce quickly, forming a thick green bloom in the water.
He says algae, we say algae.
This algal bloom will absorb sunlight shining on the water, so the sunlight can't reach the bottom. Plants who need this light to photosynthesize will die. The algae will also start to die when they eat up all of the nutrients and run out of food. Next, bacteria start to break down the dead plants and algae, and that releases more nutrients back into the water, continuing.
So I heard him say, whoever's playing with the shell on the floor over there, please stop. I heard him say the word next. Did you? So what was the first thing that happens? Jason?
The nutrients go because of the way it goes into.
Excellent. The nutrients go into the water. Sarah, put the marker down and tell me, what are the nutrients that go into the water? What do you think they are? Where do they come from? So we have nutrients that go into the water, and the algae loves the nutrients. It eats them up, and it covers the water with the algae bloom. And that blocks the sunlight from reaching what?
Just get back to the pep chips.
Yeah. So what happens if the sunlight doesn't make it through the water, Keegan?
The plants die.
The plants die. Then the next step of the problem, Sarah, the nutrients come, the algae blooms, it blocks the sun, and the plants die. That's the first step. The next thing, what comes next? Nate. Well, you're getting there. Let's watch. He says bacteria. Let's watch.
The algal bloom cycle. The bacteria, with a continuing supply of food, reproduce into much larger numbers, consuming oxygen as they grow and respire.
Plants.
There's not much oxygen in the water to begin with, so when the bacteria consume it quickly, it might run out completely. Water without oxygen called anoxic. If the water turns anoxic, all non-bacterial life in the water, including fish and other animals, will die. So, eutrophication happens when nutrients are added to water, which causes an algal bloom, cutting off sunlight and feeding bacteria. The bacteria use up oxygen in the water, which becomes anoxic, causing everything living in the water to die. Eutrophication is one reason why we need to be careful with fertilizers when we're growing crops.
Alright, so eutrophication is when the algae blooms because of nutrients in the water. It causes a blocking of the sunlight that then kills the plants. The bacteria thrives on the dead plants. The bacteria then starts to eat up all of the oxygen, and it makes the water anoxic. Now you hear oxic, right? Like oxygen, that's the oxygen. So if it's anoxic, that's a prefix. It makes it go not oxygen. And then what happens to the fish?
They go back.
They die. And then what do you think the bacteria does then? It gets even more active, right? So the oxygen level just keeps getting lower and lower. So is this a problem for our bay?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Let's hear from Mr. Kyle.
Alright, so just to give you guys a better visual of what we're thinking about. So let's say this is bay water, right? It's not always perfectly crystal clear. There's sediment, sand, and dirt and things floating around in it. But it's still bright enough that sunlight can get through. We'll say this flashlight's our sunlight, right? So we can still see the sun through our water, right? So that's still reaching the bottom. All those plants are still getting sunlight. They're still doing photosynthesis. They're still making oxygen, and they're still surviving. But if we have an algae bloom and the water gets really dirty, then what happens? No more sunlight, right? No more sunlight. So then all that stuff dies. And then once the plants die and there's no oxygen, the bacteria takes over and it gets even worse, and then all the fish start to die, and we see all kinds of bad things happen. If you notice that sometimes the bay gets a little smelly, that's all the bacteria and the algae kind of taking over and making it a little stinky. Alright?
Yep. And then the last bucket here. Perfect. Okay. Then put it in here. Perfect. And then put it in the middle of your plate, Keegan, and go sit down.
So you're going to give it a rinse in there, dunk it once or twice in that bath, and then each Nope. So what happened is the sunlight hit all these areas that turned lighter blue, and it didn't hit where you had your shadows from your objects.
Okay, the last bath
What's
is this
that?
one.
That's just extra bacon.
Make sure it goes all the way in, then pull it out by the corner. Let it drip off a little bit, and then put it in the center of your plate.
Now that it's done, once it's exposed, it's one time. Kinda, right? You could draw on it once it dries. I would let it completely
Yeah,
dry.
don't draw on it
before
till it's done.
you do
Dry.
anything else to it.
Okay, take it out by the corner, put it on your plate, and then you can walk back and sit down. Okay?
Alright, so you can get 2 people in each bath probably if you want to put yours in there as well. Alright?
So in this bath, there's some vinegar that's making the chemicals stop developing, and then these are cleaning it off,
Just make sure it's
and then
you guys probably should be experts on this already. Do you guys know what kind of shells they have? Let's see. What's this one? This one? Scallop. Right? What about this guy? This is a clam. What kind of clam? Surf clam, right? So this is a harder clam. It's got a pretty thick shell. What about this one?
raise your hand.
Nope. You have an oyster. This is another clam. This is a soft shell clam. Much thinner. That's not a clam.
That's I called out without raising my hand clam.
And then this one, we already called out, but we know it's an oyster, right? So then there's other shells on here that are not necessarily from our area. There are different kinds of tropical shells, snails and different things. This kind of shells like these guys, right? And like that one. So those aren't necessarily local to our area. And there's some driftwood and starfish and things like that.
Girls